Sunday in San Francisco was a lot of fun. So I started today by going for a run near the Golden Gate Bridge. Running in the morning is just such a great way to re-energise the body and the mind. Going on a trip like this, it's very easy to get jet lagged and tired, and there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of challenges, and my way of overcoming that and just getting over jet lag completely is just to do a really solid session running. Today happened to be the start of Fleet Week, so there was a lot of activity. There was the aircraft doing acrobatics. There was a lot of people in the city. The city was pumping pretty much for a Sunday. I've always said I love a challenge, and Navy boys down there at the Fleet Week recruiting centre challenged me to do some pull-ups. I've got some meetings planned for the next week in Sydney, and I needed to book resources and rooms. And so even though it was a Sunday here, I was able to connect to the office and book meeting rooms. Another aspect to help me with my marketing angle is also to do on-the-street market research, and that means going out and talking to people and just getting a bit of a sense of what they feel.
No, I think it looks great.
Come up with.
Nice, no, seriously.
They love the idea. Do they? Yeah, they would actually buy it.
I think for the vast majority of America, the prettier it is, the more they're going to buy it. Honestly, truly.
Cool, I like the packaging. Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think it's a good idea. Oh, cool. I would support it.
Going into stores, taking photographs of the competition is just a really good way to see how they're positioning themselves in the market, how they position themselves on the shelves, so that when we come in with our product, which is completely different, we can sort of make a lot more edgeway now that we know what the competition's doing. It's always good when you're doing the market research when someone says they really believe in your product. But that said, I would have got just as much out of today had they said, no, I really hate it. I quite like working under pressure. If there's no pressure there on me, I tend to be a little lazier and try and slack off a bit. If the pressure's there and I'm under the pump, I become more focused. The objective to come to San Francisco was to meet with some VCs or some corporate advisors. One of my contacts in Australia had contacted some VC firms here in San Francisco overnight, and they responded to the group email this morning.
I came over on my bike, I said.
Pleased to meet you, Andre. Going into the meeting, I wasn't really too sure how the US market worked in terms of venture capital and raising and funds raising that.
I think if you're going to do anything, it's going to have to be strategic, and it's that kind of a strategic capital and involvement that will get you footprints in other geographies, it will help in other geographies, it will give you credibility in other geographies.
To approach the capital raising firm and say, look, I've got a product, I've got it designed, I've got a marketing plan, and I've got distribution, puts me in a very strong position to be able to discuss, all right, what next? What's a strategic way to acquire funding?
You need to come out of the box, as it were, terribly precise. What you want to leave behind is, tell me more.
The meeting today was all about building that relationship, building that rapport, so that when there's the strategic directions in place, we can work together to be able to raise funds and to make this company a really strong company. Thank you very much, Andre.
Thank you.
Even though the trip, in a sense, the actual visit is pretty much over, by no means is the project over.
This trip does feel unreal, and I mean that in a literal sense. I have to pinch myself that I'm here. It's an incredible feeling because of where I've come from and in such an incredible short amount of time. A week ago, this whole project was still conception and ideas and things. 2 weeks ago, it didn't even exist.
This whole experience is a big challenge in itself, and it is possible for one person to make a huge impact on a global scale. And with flight and internet and virtual office environments, it's very accommodating to someone to be able to start a global organisation, and that's a really strong thing to take away from this.